Good morning, everyone. And I know it's a Thursday and the lesson is posted a little late, one day late, but the team is humbly apologizing for that. And actually, lately it's been rough for me, especially that I'm struggling some health concerns. Although I'm okay now, and actually, the team is so busy improving our website, and also we are doing something greater or bigger for next year because we are relocating or virtually relocating because we will have new things for 2021 and to also to have a better way of seeing things because 2020 we know has been rough for many of us or for the most Filipinos, I think, because of the pandemic. Now, today is the last day for the 2019 amendments to the revised rules of civil procedure. And first, I know we made an announcement that it's going to be three parts, but realizing that there's so many important things that especially students and bar reviewees must know, especially if the bar examinations next year would be incorporating the 2019 amendments. Now, today's topic would be on pre-trial and trial. And we know that pre-trial is very important, and the principle of pre-trial, it's like a preparation for the trial. So it's like a prelude, and it's a way actually I remember this in our civil procedure class that pre-trial is really intended so that there would be no surprises during trial, and to eliminate the like evidence pieces of evidence will be withheld and just to surprise the other party. Now, I'm sorry if you can hear some dogs because our soundproof studio, even if the SEM is almost over, is not yet done because again of it's we're really affected by the pandemic because the supplies for the materials to be used are yet to be completed. I'm sorry for that. Now, pre-trial must be done within 5 calendar days from filing of the last responsive pleading. Now, a notice of pretrial will be issued by the court, and pretrial is set not later than 60 calendar days from the filing of the last responsive pleading. Now, how is pretrial done? It should be terminated promptly. Actually, it's done in one setting only, and resetting is not tolerated. And witnesses should be identified, and the setting of the trial dates will be identified. Actually, during that time, the plaintiff is given several, depending on the number of witnesses, because we still have the 1 day witness rule. And actually, during pretrial, the judges would ask you whether the witnesses are just for corroboration and their testimony can be dispensed with, so that only one single witness will be testifying. Now, what are the requirements during pretrial? There will be a marking of evidence, if not yet marked, in the judicial affidavit of the witnesses of the parties. So, marking is done during pretrial. So, although it is terminated promptly, but it takes time actually. So, if you're a new lawyer, or if you're planning for litigation, just make sure that you are really prepared during pretrial. And if the case is prior to your case, like prior to based on the calendar is a pre-trial, then depending on the witnesses and the number of exhibits, it would really take time. Now, examination and comparison of the adverse parties evidence vis-a-vis the copies to be marked. So everything will be laid down, including the documentary evidence. Now, there would be manifestations, because especially if you only have one original copy, you don't need to submit the original copy to the court because you might need it, and there are documents that are really expensive, especially during preparation, just like SPA or documents from abroad and apostolized documents abroad, because it really would cost so much. Now, there will be manifestations from councils saying that the one being submitted or marked as per the record of the case would be or is a faithful reproduction and the genuineness and due execution of the adverse party's evidence. Now, as to genuineness and due execution of the adverse party, it will be subjected to, during trial or presentation of the evidence, what only parties or counsels do admit during or manifest during pretrial is only the faithful reproduction of the document. Like this copy here on the record, in the record of the case, is a faithful reproduction of the original. Now, another requirement is there will be reservation of evidence not yet available. But I noticed that judges are very cautious in this, because it's possible that reservation is done for delaying tactics, and it's also possible that there's the reserve witness is not really existent or not even participating in the course of trial, but it can be dispensed with later. The counsel will just make a manifestation. As to testimonial evidence, the name or position of the witness and the nature of the testimony. In one of the pre-trials that I attended, I was asked by the court, what is the nature of the testimony? Now, I was asked whether, based on my assessment, if the witness testimony is just a corroboration of the previous witness that I identified, then the court said maybe we can just dispense that so that you only have 2 trial dates. So I agreed to the sound discretion of the court. What about documentary and object evidence? You have to identify particularly or make a particular description. Just like one time, the documentary evidence was asked by the court, what is the nature, what is the name, what could be these documents. So I have to identify that during pre-trial. Now another, what if you failed to attend or you failed to comply the pre-trial order? Even despite notice, the parties did not appear. It means that a waiver of any objection to the faithfulness of the reproductions of the documents to be marked, and even the genuineness and due execution of the evidence to be required to be presented. Now, if you fail to bring the evidence required, also there's a waiver of the presentation of such evidence. Now, let's go to trial. Now, trial, especially litigators, like I've been a litigator like since 2014, and I go to court, so I have no mentor actually during those times, and I have to wait for all the cases to be called just to observe. Like I take down my notes. That's what I did, because I'm a solo practitioner, and I was able to make it like I have no fears at all. And before, I really had cold hands when I go to court. So during trial, the initial presentation of the parties' evidence shall be set within or not later than 30 calendar days after the termination of the pre-trial conference. And parties are allowed only to present evidence within a period of 3 months or 90 calendar days. And you have to include the JDR or Judicial Dispute Resolution for the plaintiff's period. Now, this is the last slide. So, what about rebuttal evidence? After like the presentation of the plaintiff, then the defendant, and the court will actually ask, is the plaintiff presenting rebuttal evidence? And you have to take note of that. Then if the plaintiff is going to present rebuttal evidence, meaning to contest the defendant's main evidence, then it's possible also that the defendant will ask or for dates to be allowed to present its So rebuttal. Now, rebuttal evidence shall be completed within a period of 30 calendar days. Actually, the amendments is really good, especially that it's trying to um, shorten the period, and also on the other hand, it's more of a disadvantage, especially if you're a practitioner and it would really mean a more or shorter days of preparation. But if your case has been built up from the beginning, there's no problem with that. Trial dates may be shortened depending on the number of witnesses to be presented. Again, as I said, it's possible that witnesses may be dispensed with during the course of trial. So, all in all, the presentation of evidence of all parties must be terminated within a period of 10 months or 300 calendar days. So take note of the period. Now, last slide. If there are no third or fourth party complaint or claim, presentation of evidence shall be done within 6 months. So you have to take note. If no third or fourth party complaint, the period is shortened. Now, the court shall decide and serve the copies of its decision to the parties within a period not exceeding 90 days from the submission of the case for resolution, with or without a memorandum. Now, the court is very particular to this because, especially, that judges must resolve cases. And even if they retire and they have not resolved their cases, there could be sanctions in that. And that's how the judiciary is trying to be more effective in the delivery of justice to litigants. Okay. I really thank you for listening and for understanding us. And this afternoon, we will be releasing our quiz. And please don't forget to like and share our Facebook page. We have many video lessons there. But if you want a smoother navigation, you can check on our YouTube channel, and we will be since we announced already our featured case. We will be posting about it, and actually we're just preparing the website because we had some problems, and I needed to be engaged in that planning. Now, we also have our website. Again, I was just talking about the website. It's a work in progress. You can check it for better navigation and for better learning, because we reduce the videos into written articles for the convenience of those who may have problems with the audio or for your on your internet connection. So thank you so much, and I look forward to you checking on our featured case and then our featured statements of the Supreme Court and featured laws. Thank you.